here we are on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
We're back.
I'm pulling
We're
up.
back. Ask
Or here for the first time.
Or here for the first time. Welcome.
Welcome.
To the pod, Katrina Kirsch.
Yes. Is this going to be a weekly occurrence? I hope so.
I think you maybe. I might pop in and out. We'll see.
We'll see. As
Keeping
long as you're
us
like,
guessing.
as long as you're on the ground, then I say you should join the show. Long-time writer, first-time caller. I like
Calling in today about
calling in. We should do an episode like that where people call in, like the Dave Ramsey show, and just start giving out our phone number. Like, call in with your questions, and we'll talk about your life, your money. Oh, it's Friday. When was the last time we podcasted? I think it was
I think we did like 2 back-to-back right before Thanksgiving. Or no, before.
It was December 15th was the last time we had an episode live. So
right,
it's January 16th right now that we're recording this.
Well, it's my fault because I did say on the podcast, I'm not going to bring my microphone to England. And then I didn't bring my microphone to England.
I think if you brought it to England, there's literally 0 chance.
No, I was too sick.
You were going, you were sick for basically a month straight. Again, welcome to the winter time with Erica.
I think it's just every year from Thanksgiving to Christmas, I'm going to be sick and I just have to accept that.
Yeah, I also think you should probably, take some vitamins or something. Drink some water.
I did walk up and down the multivitamin aisle at CVS the other day and then I just was like, there's too many choices and I left.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's probably not it. I would probably just I would start with the basics.
I mean, take vitamin D. Should I be taking C and is there an E?
Probably like a multi-version. If there were multiple vitamins in one vitamin, would probably
just take that.
Someone should create that. That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
Should they call it multivitamin? That'd be crazy.
That was a good idea. Maybe we're in the wrong business. Maybe we're in the wrong one. I don't know. Oh, it's been a long time, but it's good to be back on the mic. It's good to be back. So what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about our sponsors. Share Your Genius.
Whoa.
I took that one today.
I was not ready for that. I thought it was going to be me.
It's me today. I'm going for it, if I can remember it. So, Share Your Genius are our favorite podcast friends. If you're looking to start a podcast, which is honestly one of the best ways to grow your brand and build important relationships with your audience and potential clients in 2026 and beyond, then look no further than our friends at Share Your Genius. If you hit them up, tell them that Nick and Erica and Katrina sent you, and tell Rachel that we said hi. Without Share Your Genius, we would sound absolutely terrible. And we are extremely thankful and grateful for all of the hard work that they do to make us sound and look really good. So thank you, Share Your Genius. So besides thanking Share Your Genius, today I really want to talk about a hot topic, one that we debated in a community this morning, and it was really fun. And so we felt like we should debate it here with our friend Katrina. It's about strategy versus execution, and if there is a better path to take as a service provider or not. So Nick, I'm going to kick it to you. I know that you feel that ultimately it's got to be a bit of a mixture, but I think if you could set the scene with why people are kind of in one camp or the other and where you think things are going, I think that'll be a good place to start.
Let's zoom out real quick. The strategy versus execution debate is a hot topic because everyone was told all the money to be made is in strategy, right? So the arc was simple, like agencies and service providers showed up. Everyone started doing things for people. We'll write your blogs, we'll click all the buttons, we'll do a bunch of shit for you. And then they started getting treated like task rabbits, like order takers, because that's what they were. And so they were like, no, we fucked up. We have to do something. We have to do this in a different way. We're gonna call the shots. So instead of the client coming in and being like, we need these 3 things, when can we have them? And you as our agency or our consultant or whatever, whomever you are, will get them for us. They were like, how about we just tell them what we think they need, right? We're experts. We know how this goes. So we'll tell them what we think they need. And we won't do that other low value thing. And then everyone started to do strategy, and then nobody wanted to do any of the work. It's classic, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Everyone was like, I just didn't do the strategy. I'm a strategist. And while that's like great, someone needs to do work at some point. And at some point, things like ChatGPT, good old ChatEG, Claude, all that stuff came along, and everyone's like, oh, execution's worth even less now. It could be done. Look at ChatEG just running execution, writing blogs and doing all this dumb shit for people. And so they were like, strategy. Can't do strategy, can't do it. So you need us to do it. And strategy will do the execution. It's worth it. It's even more commoditized than it was before. And so this is what everybody did. And this is what everybody believed. And I think to a large extent, a lot of people still believe hey, I'm cool. Like, everyone can have their own POV. I just don't think that's true. I think we have plenty of evidence to suggest that it's not true anymore. We work with a lot of consultants and agencies to prove it's not true. So let's talk about it. Turns out everyone's concept of what ChatEG could do for you was actually backwards. So it sucks at execution. It's terrible at it. And it is actually pretty okay. It's good enough at strategy, because strategy comes from the access to information. And none of us sell access to information. Unless you sell books, you're not selling access to information, right? You're selling the service, which is the likelihood that someone will be successful with the information. So the whole point was, people said, well, if the internet exists and we're going to get this information from anyone, I can get it from you, I can get it from this book, I can get it from ChatGPT, I don't care. And all of a sudden, the value of really good, high quality execution went through the roof. I don't think this is necessarily new. I think it's kind of always been this way, but no one's realized it until recently, when people were like, why do these articles suck? Why does all this stuff suck recently? Why is everything terrible? Why do we not like any of the stuff we see on the internet? Oh, it's because we outsourced the wrong arm of this.
A lot of the articles have sucked for a while. They just suck in a higher volume now.
Yes, there's much more everything. Like, everything can suck a lot louder.
It just sucks louder. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it sucks more. Like, in that there are, instead of like, oh, that one article sucked, good thing that company only wrote one shitty article. Now they can write thousands of shitty articles.
Yeah.
So here's the point. Here's the rub, and where we're going to go with all of this today, which is, instead of gatekeeping your strategy, we need to all come to the conclusion that there's nothing special about our strategy, because the strategy is free and available. Answering the question, what am I supposed to do? Or what are we doing here? Answering the question is very easy, because the internet exists. And you can get that from anybody. You can get it from free reading LinkedIn posts. You can get it for $5 out of any book, because there's thousands of marketing strategy, or just strategy books in general. Like, it's very accessible. The question is how do you act on it in a successful way? Like, the execution part of that work is damn near impossible to find. And so we joke that's like, the people who drag their clients to glory make the most money, because people want to increase their likelihood of success. They don't want just like, here's a plan.
I want to add some nuance.
Do it. I know. I'm like
to this.
I
love your soapbox. I love your soapbox. If I could listen, I do listen to you soapbox all day, and I love it.
I'm sorry you have to do that.
If I didn't love it, then it wouldn't be a good partnership, but I love it.
This is true. Well,
so
thanks.
It works. I believe that things are changing in the market as well. And so strategy is becoming more of a big experiment in a lot of ways than just a quote unquote playbook that you can follow, or, everyone's just running this play. I don't see that working as well for a lot of the companies that our clients support, if that makes sense. So it's becoming even more chaotic out there, and it's becoming even more important to be able to move fast, figure out what works for your business, break things a bit, try again, get out there, experiment. And having people on your team supporting you as a consultant who understand the strategy of what worked a decade ago, and that is shifting, and being able to consult with you on the strategy from an experience-based perspective, and then also provide the tools to execute, feels very meaningfully important in this moment as well. I don't think that no strategy makes sense for a lot of people we work with. I think if you are like a straight up agency, like Grizzle, my old agency that I worked for, they're pivoting a lot into just execution. It used to be both, and now it's more execution. And that makes sense if you're supporting mature, scaling, enterprise-based companies that have all the strategies in the world. They have all the in-house people in the world. They just need to get shit done, right? Like that's what Pep wrote on LinkedIn yesterday. Pep Laha. I've never been able to pronounce his name correctly. Apologies. He wrote a viral Leha. Pep Leha. He wrote a viral post yesterday that I will just read the end of. I'll paraphrase that basically agencies are getting fired because his company Winter surveyed them. And the quotes from the reason why they're getting fired is that they have no concept of what it is to run a business. They assume that we have endless time to implement new ideas. And I need execution, not strategy. I have plenty of strategy, right? And these are from mid-market B2B SaaS marketing leaders. So you're mid-market, you're not just a startup. You have the strategy. All you need is to get shit done. If you are pre-revenue startup, it might be a different story. So like the business that you're serving and who's on their team and what they actually know and understand, I think plays a role too. That's just important. Either way, if you're going to do strategy, I still think you should do some sort of execution to drag them through, because there's too many anecdotes of people doing brilliant strategy for companies of all sizes, and it just sits on a shelf.
Pep he built the timeline into this post, which is like so perfect. He's like, this is how agencies sell. And this is like very current. Weeks 1 through 4, discovery. Weeks 5 through 8, strategy development. Weeks 9 through 12, the playbook presentation. Week 13 plus, now you execute it. And it's absurd, because if everyone's doing that, and you're like, I'll just help you see it through to the end, there's a massive differentiator for you. And I'll give you a really easy example of this. When you look at your client base and you ask the question, what outcomes have I helped my clients achieve? What types of success have they had? Right? Are they successful in the ways that I want? And if the answer is a bunch of excuses, like they don't do the thing that I tell them to do, this is you. This is a you problem. So we change the engagement model. We have plenty of people come to us and we're like, how successful are your clients? And I'm like, well, if they would just do the things I tell them to do and they push back on everything. It's like, well, I think our failures as consultants are ours, not our clients. There's only so much we took on a bad client to go around. And at some point, if everyone is not successful, we need to change the things that we're doing to help our clients be successful. Like,
there's too many stories. Remember that anecdote? One of our clients came in and had to redo an entire positioning strategy that the company had paid $40,000 for and never executed. She said it was one of the best strategies she's ever seen, but they had no idea how to implement it. So she had to like re-swizzle it so that it was understandable and implementable. And then she helped them. Like she literally dragged them to do it. I can't remember if she did it with them or like had people come in and do it for them, but she literally like dragged them kicking and screaming to glory after they they threw $40,000 just down the drain on a strategy, right? And again, a brilliant strategy. Go ahead, Katrina.
Do you know why they couldn't do it?
It's probably a combination of prioritizing priorities. Everyone's already got shit to do. So when a consultant shows up and they're like, do this other shit, and they go, well, when? That's why we hired you. We already are all doing stuff. Mm-hmm. That seems to be the biggest issue.
Yeah, I feel like time and skill, from what I've seen, like either you don't have time to execute, and so you need the person who is doing the strategy for you or doing the thing for you to help you with your time and do it for you. Or it's like, yes, you gave us this brilliant strategy and it's awesome and we would love to do it, but we just don't know how. And so even if you have the time or you want to do it, you don't have the right steps in order to do it. That's what I've seen. Maybe there's more nuance to that, but it's either skill or time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sums it up perfectly. I mean, even just look at your own offer, writing mini books. Like Eric and I hardly have the time, but I certainly don't have the skill to write them. Erica writes.
I'm a writer. I'm not a mini book writer. I don't have the skill either. I could
So,
I could try to fake my way through it, but it would not be good.
But so this is an easy example then. It's even easier than I thought it was going to be, because if you show up and you're just like, here's the whole layout, here's the table of contents, here's everything you need, here's all of the stuff, just go write it. And be like, well, that is not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of helpful. It's like, cool, now I can like see where we should go. Now go find somebody to do it, is usually what they say. Go find somebody to do it. And the thing that people do is they're afraid of like losing status. They're like, well, if you do stuff for your clients, they're going to treat you that way. And I think to some degree that is true. You know, like Max Trailer has a really great anecdote about how one time he got introduced to a client. They're like, here's Max. He's going to help us with our marketing strategy. And then when it came time to run the execution, they were like, here's Max. He's the tweets guy. He's going to help us with with writing tweets and stuff. And he was like, whoa, that status dropped fast. And so I don't disagree with that sentiment, but I also don't think the leap is that aggressive I think they're going to be like, this is Max, the guy that makes us a shit ton of money every time he hits publish on Twitter because whatever he's doing is working, right? Like, because the outcome is more important, and you get to charge more for when things go really well for your clients than for here's theoretically how things can go well for your clients.
And I feel like if you're jumping into the weeds with a client, you have to have the skill to jump out. You can't stay in the weeds. Otherwise, that's when you become somebody who's just doing the thing and just executing, and they're not going to see your strategy as valuable anymore if they just think of you as the person who's always executing. And maybe you are making them a lot of money, but I feel like I agree with you, Nick. Like, it has to be this balance of if you want to do both or you have to do both, be able to like continually and constantly anchor yourself in how you want to be seen and positioned.
Yeah, that's a brilliant insight. And also to add to it, Katrina, you have to be able to be connected enough to what you are doing to know if it's working or not. Like, being an order taker generally means, sure, I'll write you the thing. You paid me for it. Now I'm done. If you're a straight up freelancer, that's generally the mindset. That's how I started back in 2018 when I was just messing about, and I didn't care. Honestly, back then. I was like, just give me my money. I don't care. The more that you work for yourself, generally, the more you care about outcomes, because you need to have results to prove that you are hireable and worthy of that. And then the more that you're like, okay, from there, I want to build a quote unquote real business. The mindset of I care about results, just it happens more with time generally. But if you're in that mindset of just kind of getting paid and not caring, then it's a dangerous place to be, because you have literally no say in anything that's happening, and you can't put your name next to a result and be able to say, I had an influence on that, or it went this way because of this. You're just literally doing the thing. And so even if you are straight up executing, like Grizzle, my old agency, is doing, like, there's no way they're doing that without paying attention to the results. Like, you better bet they're still in the strategy call, I would assume, or at least talking strategy with the person that they are executing for, to understand if they need to pivot. And you better believe they have the experience to be able to influence that conversation if they need to. Like, that's just so important.
In our world, like in the solopreneurs that we talk to, an easy way this manifests is like, and we break it down into like, there's freelancer mindset, and there's like business owner or like entrepreneur mindset or whatever, strategist mindset, for lack of a better term. So it goes like this. You reach out to a contact and you go, do you have any articles that you would like me to write this month? It's a super common one. There's a lot of freelance bloggers out there, and they'll reach out to people they work with on it. Even if it's on a monthly basis, you go, hey, it's the next month. What articles do you have? And they're going to be like, write these 3 articles this month, please. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like, if that's the way you run your business, right? Like, no one's mad about that. But
hey,
it does
make your money, you know?
Yeah, make your money. Nobody's mad at you. But the thing that comes with that is low pricing power, right? Like, that's the commodity place. And so a small shift to going from freelancer mindset to like entrepreneur mindset or an owner's mindset is, you say, hey, we've written a lot of stuff together. I looked through it, and I think these are the next 15 things we need to write over the next 3 months. Totally different You show up with a totally different posture. Your pricing power goes way up because they see you in a totally different light. It's not, may I please have another blog? It's like you're running a program now. And it's something, it is a simple shift, but it makes a massive difference. So when we say like run strategy or execution, like it makes a massive difference, because it's one thing for people to say, hey, I think you should write these 15 blogs next month. And they go, great, who's going to write them? And we're harping on articles and blogs and stuff just because it's a simple and easy example. And it's like a lot of people do it. That's like usually where the bottleneck is in most business and like a lot of marketing organizations. Like, who's going to write all this stuff? Who's going to write all these LinkedIn posts? Or what should we write about? Things like that. So changing that mindset. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with like why so many solopreneurs in demand gen are so successful or make so much money, is because their expertise is, here's the plan, here's how we make LinkedIn ads and Google ads work for your business, and then I'm just going to go do it, because they know that it's just technical enough that you can't just like find some random person to do it.
Right. And that's the mistake with hiring an agency to do the technical stuff without the strategy, because they'll just click some buttons and ask for a paycheck. That's the freelance version of demand gen. Give me this much money and I'm going to just click a bunch of buttons, and I'm incentivized for you to give me more because I get paid more depending on how much money you spend. And I don't give a shit about the results, and we're not going to track anything to actual revenue. And cool, you're running paid ads.
Yeah. So what's the rub on all of this, right? The point is, the bounty on high quality, high outcome execution is unbelievably high. And you get to charge more when you have a roster of successful outcomes in your wake. And it's like, look, we know, right? So back to the core thesis here is like, we're selling the likelihood that your business will become more successful with us doing this thing for you. That's why with our clients, like, you write the LinkedIn posts instead of making them do it. Like in the early days, I was like, okay, like you should write content like this, right? Write problem content and process content, improve content. And they're like, cool. Like, I don't really have a lot of time and I'm not sure how to do that, right? This, like what Katrina said, like the skill and time issue. Come to think of it, I feel like everything basically comes down to like one or both of those.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of interesting. Like if you think about, do I need to do this in my business, right? The way I think about it, or the way I would think about it is, if you're not having the outcomes, like I think, Erica, you mentioned it, if your clients keep coming back, or you're saying like, oh, they just didn't execute, my strategy was great. Well, if you're noticing that they're not executing, find out why. Is it time? Is it skill? Like, is it something else? And like, either you could incorporate that as part of your business, or could you suggest somebody else to do it, right? Like, I don't design the interiors of books, but I know somebody who could go do that for you if you can't execute on that, right? So whether or not it's part of my offer or not, I can either make it part of my offer if I want to do that, or I can go find somebody and connect them with somebody to help them execute on that thing that I gave them.
Trusted partners is massive. I mean, it's no secret, we send like all of our clients to Emily Court to have their websites designed, because we don't design and build websites. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to, like, we consider this, like, well, do we bake that into our service? Like, do we do that type of stuff? And it was like, no, like, just keep the main thing the main thing. No one is upset that you don't do a thing, but you should know the complementary things or the things that overlap your work. So you're like, if we're going to write a book together, at some point you're going to need a book interior designer to map it all out and make the pages look right. That's a completely different skill set, right? Designing a website is a totally different skill set, although it's a natural next step to the work that we're doing. There's a lot of people like that. And I think everyone we know has like has a handful of like trusted partners in that way, because there's natural overlap in your work with tons of people, and having good people, it just makes the world go around in a lot of ways, but it also just makes your life so much easier because you increase the likelihood of them being successful.
I feel like we get this question a lot. So just a quick side question, Nick. Do you recommend, is there a world in which one is better than the other? Having a trusted partner, introducing them and staying out of it, or rolling up that cost into your offer You don't introduce them. It just gets done behind the scenes and you send it back.
The old white label.
The old white label.
The
we do get this question a lot. So
It is a good question.
Answering.
Like, ye old white labeling. There's a lot of nuance to this answer. I mean, generally, my broad brushstroke answer is no. Don't white label. It's not worth it. At this stage, it's just really not worth it for you to try to pretend to be someone you're not, or speak on their behalf, or pretend. Like, it's just generally not worth it. Most people don't care either. Like, no one is upset that Emily Court doesn't work for us. No one is upset that your interior book designer doesn't work for you or something.
But as
like,
the business
or that you don't
owner,
offer.
our dear listeners are generally business owners, and they might be thinking, can I make a bit more on this?
Can I pad that?
Can I pad
this is
it?
like,
Should I pad it?
all right, so here's an interesting one. We're going to take the scenic route on this, but I think it's important. We had a client that referred her client to a partner. And the partner, they had set up some sort of referral fee. And so instead of eating the fee, they charged the client more to cover the fee. And so she's like, well, wait a minute. My clients have to pay more for the thing that everybody else pays less for because they came from me? Like, that doesn't feel ethical. That doesn't feel right. That you're just charging them more because they came from me. Like, and so to your point, it's like, should you be padding stuff? Like, if they just went straight to Emily and they paid X, but they're going to pay 20% more to go through for us to quote unquote white label it so we can make a few $100 or something. Like, I personally don't do that. I think it adds friction to the process. Like, I also don't want to manage some of those things. Like, I think there's only so much room in your brain to keep things, to manage the work. And so I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't think it's worth it. I think you might end up, if you're not a great project manager and you find yourself in that situation, like that you're trying to manage client expectations and communicate feedback and revisions and all this other stuff, like you're inserting yourself into a process for really no reason, for very little gain. Like, the majority of the stuff, and this is my own personal experience, I ran partnerships at Impact, my last agency, for a number of years. And I will tell you is that there are very few things worth getting out of bed for in the partnerships world. So it's like, unless you're paying me a good amount of money and it's consistent all the time, like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I would rather just send you the referral and move on with my life. Like, it's going to be some incremental,
I can think of one
$20,
instance where it kind of makes sense, where we almost did this and then we didn't, where it's like, we had an ops person that we were sending people to for a while. And if it makes sense for you to be heavily involved in how that person creates an ops workflow for your client, because you are the one who, we created the offer for them. So now the ops situation has to align with the offer. Like, if it makes sense for us to be heavily involved in it, it might make sense for us to charge for that and then just pass it on to the ops person. But we still didn't end up doing, we still kept it separate.
Yeah. We heavily considered adding that skill set and basically like hiring someone.
Yeah.
To do it. And it didn't make any sense.
In the end
for us, because it was like, at what point, when are you trying to be something you're not?
Right.
We're not web designers. We're not ops people like that. Like, we can guide the very easy beginning stages of those things where it's like, we know now that it is time for you to there's probably time to update your website. You were probably in a place where you need to start working on automating stuff. It's becoming a bottleneck in your business. Like, we can show you that, but you don't want me in Zapier. You don't want me doing that. It's not worth it. And you certainly don't, like, for us, it didn't make sense to bolt that into the service, because then the service becomes more expensive than we want it to be. Or then it becomes, it changes the economics of the business in ways that we didn't want. So keep the main thing, as we've been known to say.
So here's a question then, because you both do have execution as part of your business. If not ops execution, you have writing execution, correct? That's a core part of the offer. And I'm curious why you chose to have, like, where you draw the line when you think about your own business and why you've chosen to do some execution and not others.
That's a really good question. The reason why we have to do content and with offer design is because it's the whole reason why Nick and I merged our businesses. Offer design without the content to market the offer, condition the market the problem, process proof, get people to actually come to you and hire you for the thing wasn't working. People had these amazing offers and were really struggling to sell them outside of referrals, which always dry up at some point or another or have a roller coaster vibe to them. And content without a strong offer was driving a lot of attention to people that had weak offers who were then struggling to fulfill the demand in a meaningful way and get these outcomes that we're talking about. They had questions for me like, should I do strategy or execution? And I was like, I can guess, but you should probably talk to Nick. So it made sense because it's a core part of how we drag our clients to glory. Like they are two puzzle pieces that fit very well together. Having a website is an important part of getting your offer out there and having a home for it. But I wouldn't say that the website is mission critical to being able to make money. Like a lot of our clients start making money and growing their business before the site's even live. And it's a one-time thing. So the website just needs to get designed. It takes a couple weeks. It's done. So, in a 6-month core program where the offer design and advisory and content is rolling all 6 months, to roll something that takes 2 weeks into that doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah. Mission critical to drag to glory. I think those were the key words.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. I haven't thought about it that way. It's like, well, people, you don't need a website. As much as I love the website, you do not need one to be successful, like at all. We grew Duo till we had like 8 or 9 clients by the time we're like, I guess we should probably put the website, like do a website right now.
I'm convinced nobody even looks at that thing anyway.
I'm convinced nobody looks at anyone's website, but most people need it as like a crutch or some sort of like anchor point in their mind for what they're selling. And like, there's a legitimacy factor that it just exists in the first place.
It's important to have it as well, depending on the industry you're selling to.
Yeah.
That also varies.
But the other part of this is like to Katrina's original question, which is like, how do you decide? Core competency plays a massive role in all of this. Like we didn't say you should write mini books because Erica can't write your mini book. Like, you don't want Erica writing your mini book. You want her writing your LinkedIn content.
Or your newsletter.
Right? Or your newsletter. Like it's a different...
I like to chill under 2,000 words. Anything over, it's just not I'm not going to really go there.
Jam.
It's not my jam.
Like you don't want me doing that. Like I'm not a ghostwriter. Like I've never tried. Like I can hardly write my own content. It's just not my thing. Like I'm a talker, if you haven't noticed. So like that's where I can get all the stuff going. So I think it's important to recognize like, well, where's the core competency end? And if you're like, well, like I'm not super great at execution and like the world-class level at any of these things, it's like, well, one, you can always learn a skill. So I'm not saying like, hey, if you need to learn LinkedIn ghostwriting, like you can learn anything you want. I didn't want to learn that. That wasn't for me. But like you can learn anything if you need to fill the gap or partner with somebody, find other people that complement your skill set in the same way. So it's like, it makes a ton of logical sense for the three of us to build House Solo Scale as a media property. It makes a ton of sense for Erica and I to do the Duo consulting offer as it is. It makes sense for Katrina to run her mini book production digital publishing strategy business the way that it is, because it's where the core competency lies. So there's natural overlaps in certain places and it doesn't have to overlap everywhere. It's like in the early days, like I didn't know how to wireframe a website. I was like, oh, we're doing this offer thing. I was like, oh, it would probably be really good if we like had like an anchor point on a website. So it's like you learn the skills to wireframe a website. And you're like, what makes a great offer? You learn the order of the modules. I'm not the best copywriter in the world, but if you figure it out, and I guess you get good enough, and then you go from there. And like, yeah, I bought books and I took courses, and it was like, you're not paying me to be the best copywriter in the world, though. You're paying me to organize your offer. And then I partnered with Erica, and then I didn't have to deal with that anymore.
I am also not the best copywriter in the world.
Yeah, but you're a words.
We get it done.
You two are words people, and it makes my life easy. Like, I don't know, this was calculated. It's like, I need words people in my life. What do you do? Like, right? I mean, how do other people do this stuff? How do other people decide like how they, like, do they just like accidentally partner with people?
Well, I think part of part of part of execution, at least for me or being an operator, was you're forced to do, like when you have your own business, you're forced to do so much stuff for yourself unless you can pay people to do it for you. And then you kind of learn what you like and what you don't like through that. And maybe some of that becomes something that then you can add to your offer and execute for other people. And maybe you're like, I'm never going to do my own taxes. We'll always hire an accountant to do my taxes. Like, I have zero desire to learn how to do that. Like, so I think it just comes with time and with your core competency. And like a lot of the people that you both work with, they already kind of know what they're good at, right? Like, they're making money, they're doing the thing, they're making 20, 30, 40K a month. And I don't know, like, what's the issue there with them? Is it that they're trying to just do strategy and not do execution? They need to find they're doing too much to execution and they need to lean more on strategy. Like, what do you think is like the problem that most of your clients run into with this?
Oh, dude, it's so simple. They're doing something different for everybody. Standardization, right? You cannot scale custom shit.
Some of them are just doing way too much execution. Some are doing way too much strategy, no execution. Some are doing too much of both.
Yeah, it's bloated. Bloat is also
all
a huge
bloated,
problem.
yeah.
Bloat could be a problem where you're just like, they're just stuffing it full of stuff. It's just too much. And it's like, 80-20. Let's 80-20 this thing and figure out what makes the biggest difference. But yeah, I think we tend to, and this has changed over time. Like, initially I worked with a lot of people that were like, we need leads. I need leads. Like, that's the thing I need. Whereas now it's like, I have leads. It's that I need to standardize the thing, so I stop doing something different for everybody. It's like, and it's just different enough where the cognitive load is like off the charts to try and figure out, like, well, everyone, who gets this and who gets that and where are they in the process?
And then if you're doing something different for everyone, it's really hard to have pricing confidence because you're like, what do I charge if I take out this piece? I don't know. That piece was really valuable for the last client. So I think maybe I should reduce my price to this, but then it's just like this, it's the decision fatigue of it all. So yeah, I would say standardizing 100%. I think most of our clients pretty well live in both though. They do strategy and execution. Right, Nick?
Yeah, I would say if anything, it will tilt a little heavier into strategy.
Yeah, a little bit.
In overall, like, if it might be like, if there's a spectrum, they're like just to scooch into strategy over just like an even split of strategy and execution.
They all have really important deliverables that they deliver though.
They do, but, and I alluded to this earlier, which is like when it comes down, when you bottom line it and you're like, what makes, like, show me the success, like, what are the most successful clients, like, what do they look like, what have they done, all comes down to ability to execute. And it's like, well, why don't you just execute for them and take that variable off, take away that variable, and then all of a sudden your odds of a successful engagement go way up, and then therefore your pricing power can go way up. Your LTV, your contract line, like the whole thing can go way up. Then you're also de-risking it for the client, so it's an easier sell because you're eating that, and then you can also charge more, and everything good. That all the good things come from that. Now, it's not this simple as I'm making it sound, and that like, oh, well, we just flip a switch and it's done. But a lot of times it boils down to that one thing where they're just like, they might do some deliverables, but it's all very like, it's like the heady stuff. And it's not the unsexy deliverables where it's like, we wrote the article, we wrote the blog, or we wrote the newsletter, or we helped them, like, maybe it was like, here's the premise of the podcast, but they didn't train up the host on how to like host like a human or something. I don't know. I'm trying to make up random deliverables that people come to us with. There's a lot of
button clicking and just like a lot of copywriting that gets outsourced by our clients. But the big things like the messaging strategy 20-page doc is not getting outsourced. They're doing that. They're giving that to them. And then maybe they're executing on the website copy V1, then handing it off to a person to make it better. I don't know, whatever it is. Most of our clients know how to do the thing, and then they outsource it. Rarely do we have clients who are like, I can't do it, so I have to find someone to do it. Yeah,
so this is like the execution. We say standardize, delegate, automate. The delegate part is generally the most labor intensive, high recurring execution. Like you can't be in all execution. Like your role as like the principal of this business is to show up and be accountable for the work. But that doesn't mean you have to do it. Like we have plenty of people that do positioning and messaging, and they do all the interviews and they do all the briefs, and then they have a copywriter that writes the landing page, right? Like you don't need, just because you didn't write the landing page doesn't mean that it's not good.
Like Katrina, it's so interesting. So I'm thinking about your offer as we talk through this. The biggest value for us, obviously from a time standpoint, like delivering the book is massive, but the biggest value in my head from your offer is the brilliant insights that you drag out of us in the strategy sessions that we have once a week. We don't come to you and say, here's what we want to write about. There you go. We're like, here's an idea. And you're like, let's jam through this for the next hour and a half. And then you give us the outline and then we jam through it again. And then you deliver it. And like with this book that you're helping us outline as well, it's like all the same stuff. I see a future for your business where someone else is writing the books and you're just editing them. That'll be much easier for you to outsource than like those conversations that you're so good at. And so that's where it's like, if you were just straight up doing the execution, it's good, but it wouldn't be as valuable as the full service that you provide by being able to have those insightful conversations.
Yeah. And actually, I wouldn't be able to execute the way I do if I didn't have that piece, because I've had things where people will give me podcasts or some documents or a framework or whatever their version of their thinking is. And sometimes it's detailed and in-depth enough, but very, very rarely enough for me to write in the way that I write or that the client wants me to write for them, and like push the thinking and go deeper and like build out this mini book for them. So oftentimes like I am the one that has to do the interview because I need to ask the questions that I need to ask, and I need to like be there to push them and tell them to stop and tell them to explain. And it's hard to do that via email. It's hard to do that via voice memo asynchronously. Like sometimes you can, but usually that conversation needs to happen for the mini book to even be good.
Yeah. Now here's the difference. I'd be like, well, if you outsource the execution, then aren't you just doing strategy? Isn't that exactly what you just told people not to do? It is, one, it's your play. It's like you are helping them. The point is that we provide the resources necessary to help our clients see it through. So like for you, it's a lot easier for you to train up a writer to teach them how to structure a mini book. Then it's much easier to do that than it is for you to be like, did you hear that insightful thing and they just blew past it? Like stop them, go back and ask a follow-up question there, or tell them nobody knows what they're talking about. Like you need to tell them, ask a difficult question there, or point out something to them. That was the thing. Like that skill is a way different. It's a way different thing. And so we tend to show people the work as like, well, what are the things that only you can do? And at first you're like, I'm going to hold on to all this shit because nobody can do it quite like me. And the more you do it, you go, yeah, somebody else could probably do this shit, some of this shit.
And I train people to do this too. I train people to interview. When I was at Digital Press, I was like the account managing editor. So I was the interviewer and editor essentially. And then I had a writer who was my counterpart, who would take the transcripts and create the piece. I would edit it and publish it. And I had to train like 10 other editors to do this, to basically like take what I know and go interview your clients. And we had like training sessions where we would listen to transcripts together. And like, it's definitely a trainable skill, but you have to have the right person who cares enough, who's interested enough, like who's curious, who knows how to like learn and ask. It's like, you have to want to learn how to do it in order to do it, just like anything, if you want to do something well. So like some of this stuff can be outsourced if who you're outsourcing it to can learn it or can care enough or can do it. But that's like a pretty huge part of outsourcing anything, right? Like you want to make sure you're getting the right people to do the thing.
Yeah. So you just described how to scale your business in like a couple sentences, right? You're just like, okay, here's the simple structure, right? Like you need to buy back some time in some places. So the most labor intensive, high frequency thing that takes place, or the recurring task here is writing the stuff, going through the calls and developing the outlines and the table of contents and kind of like all the things that need to take place in order to say, well, what should we be writing right now? What angle should this all be? What angle should this take? that's work that you should be doing. That's kind of like, because a lot of times too, we get into the business because we like doing the work. Most of the time people get into business because they like doing the work, and then they find themselves like that they're like, oh, well, now my job is to run a business and be a business person and not do the work. And like, that's not fun for anybody either. So like at some point you'll slowly get out of the work, but most people want to stay in it, involved in it in some capacity, because like that's kind of that was the half the point.
It's also hard to advise on strategy when you forget what it's like to execute on said strategy. You get super rusty. It's like, I don't even know anymore. Just go do the stuff. Oh, the stuff doesn't work anymore? Oh, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, then you rely on other people to like see around the bend and stuff. That's like a whole other
It's good to always be able to recognize patterns.
Yeah,
Pattern recognition is so important.
But this is true across all of our clients. Like the same sentiment, which is there's at some point there's a labor intensive, high value thing that must be delegated in order to unlock some scale. So most of the time, like the easiest examples are like all of our demand gen clients. Like they run strategy, they're accountable to the work, they show up and interface with the clients, they manage the relationship, but they're not clicking buttons in your Google Ads account anymore. Right? That's still a technical skill that like not just like anyone in the world could do. Like you still have to have some level of skill to be able to execute on some stuff, there. In the same way that you also need to be a competent writer to write a mini book, like for you to offload, if you were to offload that at some point in the future. Whereas a reason people would hire you is because they want you to show up on the calls today and ask the questions and prime some thinking. There's a ton of value in being the face of the work at this stage. Now, that doesn't say that you're the face of it forever. There are plenty of founders that scale themselves out of the business. Totally fine, not mad about it when people do it, like great. But it's like this is also a glide path. These are things that take place over time. So it's not like tomorrow you offload all this stuff to people and you hope for the best. Like that's one thing that people think. They're like, well, how am I supposed to give all my accounts to somebody? Like they've been with me for years. It's like, who the fuck said to do that? Nobody said do that. So yeah, the strategy versus execution debate it's layered. I think the whole point of all of this is like, do what you need to do to make your client successful, and stop thinking about it so hard. Like, well, I don't do that. Like that limiting belief of being like, well, I don't do that thing.
Dude, that limiting belief is why we almost didn't work together. Because you were like, I need content for my clients. And I was like, I don't write content anymore. I've graduated from
You're like, I'm not a ghostwriter anymore.
And then I was like, wait a second, do I want to make more money or less money? It's like, I want to make more money. I'm just going to do it again. And I love it. I love doing it now because I'm doing it with you in a way that is way more impactful than the way I was doing before. And it's getting our clients the results that they need to get. Like eventually, will I be writing for our clients forever? No, eventually we will outsource that, but I don't want to yet. Like we're in year 2 of working together, like
technically month 7 or 8, like
of Duo, but like we've been, we've been married for like a year and a half, I think.
That's true.
Otherwise,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, business married. Just in case if there's any new listener, please just understand that's
a joke.
That is a joke. The point is that we tell ourselves things because we make up a story about ourselves and where we are in our career and whatever makes us feel good. And if that story stops serving you, you are allowed to change the story. Take it from me. I've pivoted so many times. You are absolutely allowed to change the story.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Don't hold yourself to a standard for no reason. Yeah, dude, that's why we almost didn't do it. I forgot that happened.
But you were literally like, I don't want to ghost.
We should find that in Slack because you were like, would you
that.
Consider it? And I was like, no.
Yeah, you're like, I
said
don't
no.
do
I
this
said
for
straight
people.
up no.
And then I was just like, huh. Okay.
And then you sent me how much he was willing to pay for it, and I was like,
you're like,
yes.
Well, hold on a second.
The answer is yes.
The answer is I'll consider it. We'll try it out. We'll see how it goes. I was thinking about this, though, the other day, and it was like our ability to make clients successful because we added that part of this to the business has just been an absolute game changer. Mm-hmm. Like, I was stopping short. Like I was doing the thing that I tell all our clients not to do, which was like stopping short, do whatever it takes. And I was like, I don't want to learn that skill though. That was the other part. I was like, I don't want to be the LinkedIn ghostwriter. Could I have tried to do it and just like taken all the money for myself? Maybe, but it would not have been good.
A moment of regret just crossed through your eyes, but then you're like, no.
No, there's literally no chance that it would have been even close to as effective because it's just not my lane. Like I don't think in like you literally think in content and hooks. Like
I almost volunteered for the mini books. I was like, I could do that. And then you were like, what if we asked Katrina? And I was like, that's a way better idea. Way better idea.
And I hate writing LinkedIn posts. So everybody's got their own thing. I'm trying to learn to love it. I'm working on it.
You're doing great. Doing great.
Thanks. So I have a question to wrap this up. If there's something that you want to leave people with when they're thinking about how to approach strategy versus execution in their business, what would it be?
Take stock in what your successful clients do and don't do. I wouldn't think about it from the lens of strategy versus execution. I would just say, do a client audit and look at the outcomes those clients have achieved. This is the first thing we do with every client anyway. And how we have become more bullish on this idea because we've seen it enough times that it's a foregone conclusion. But it's helpful and I think extremely powerful when people come to this conclusion on their own. So I invite you, dear listener, to do a client audit yourself and look at all the outcomes that all of your clients have achieved, right? Not like we published all this shit or not traffic is up. It's like, what difference have the clients made or have you made on your clients? And the ones that are really successful by any measure, whether it's financial, emotional, spiritual, like there's a bunch of different ways, communal, there's a bunch of different ways that you can help your clients be successful. But of all the ways, which ones have been successful and what is the difference, right? And it's going to come down to execution. It almost always comes down to execution or ability to execute. And you will find that you're leaving a lot of money on the table by not including it in some capacity, or you're including it might be in the wrong ways. That's my take. I don't know if Erica's got a different take.
Same idea. Like when you're auditing, not just the outcomes, audit on a scale of 1 to 10. Were they a bad client or a good client in your energy, like in your mind? Did you enjoy working with them? I think we had a client recently who was like, I think I want to give everyone like a 1. Like shit. Like I've never really looked at them like this. And when we got to the bottom of why none of them were quote unquote good clients, it was because they weren't doing anything with the strategy that he delivered. Like that's kind of where this all started, was this client who was like, I'm doing all this stuff for them and they're not doing the thing. And we were like, you got to drag them to glory, dude. Because you eventually, like, it will catch up with you. I think this is my final mindset thought. The money feels really, really good at first. You're getting paid really, really well for a strategy that you're proud of. That will feel good for a while. But everybody eventually feels the pain of not being able to say, but this mattered. Like this made an impact. This actually did something. Nobody is happy with that outcome. The money ends up going away, right? You spend it, you're going to need more money. And that feeling of like, that was just empty money, it didn't actually make a difference, will catch up to you and it will hurt your mindset as a business owner. We say this, our motto is, we want to make a difference for people who make a difference for people, right? And it's like, if your clients don't achieve the outcomes, like you are going to lose steam. You're not going to feel great about it. Like it will slowly chip away at you if your clients aren't as successful as you want them to be, or you know they can be, and the work doesn't amount to the difference that you know it can produce. Like that stuff is the difference between you wanting to get another job or you keeping the thing going. Mm-hmm. It's making a difference for people. I heard this not too recently. Actually, it was a very long time ago. I don't know why I said recently. I've heard this before, and isn't it fun in my brain? I heard this before, and I think it's very indicative of what we're talking about here. Someone was like, has anyone ever heard of a company that is like that has worked with Alex Hormozi and been successful? Like the whole acquisition.com. This isn't a referendum on Alex Hormozi. And I think he's, some people love him or hate him. And I think he has some interesting, some good ideas and some bad ideas. But the point remains is like huge following
everyone says that they do a lot of the stuff, but they're like, I've never heard of a company that he's like acquired and been successful, or I've never heard of someone who's like done the stuff and been successful. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but like, you don't really hear about that. And I was like, it's an interesting thing, because it's a lot of what we're talking about, which is you can work with a ton of people, but if they don't get where you're trying to get them, that cuts you down. And especially like we have clients that have 80,000 LinkedIn followers. So it's like really easy to move a lot of traffic. And you see all this shit on LinkedIn all the time of people like, oh, like this course has been bought by 20 bajillion people. And you're like, but like everyone who takes the course doesn't get anything out of it. Then who gives a shit?
That was painful as a course owner. There were definitely people who got stuff, but the majority didn't even go through it.
Don't even finish it. Yeah, they don't even go through it.
And that caught up to me. It's like, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah, because you're just like, I would rather have make a difference.
So disconnected. I was like yearning for customer feedback on things, like yearning. It's like, is this even fucking making a difference? Right?
Like, this could have been an empty book. This could have been like a totally blank pages, and people bought it, and they would have made no difference. All the time you spend, the agony to write the curriculum and fill in the videos and do all the bullshit to market and sell it for no one or so few people to look at it. You're like, sure, the money was great, but like for no one to look. I think that's a really great example of this in a manifesting in a different way. It's like, oh, I gave my client this strategy and they paid me 20 grand for it. They didn't do anything with it. Well, that's their fault, versus like, hey, I made 20 grand off this course. Only 3 people finished it and got something out of it. Same slightly different circumstances, but I think they're the same thing. I think they're totally the same thing. Wow.
You ask good questions, Katrina, God damn it.
You asked one question and we're just like, we
Thank you for inviting me. Happy to come back anytime.
Well, I think that's where we land this plane today. What do you guys say?
I think so.
I think so. Till next time.
All right. See you next time, friends.
Ciao.